and a couple times at CVS. I guess I don't know who's paying for it. Yeah.
Well, they ask for your insurance carrier information when you get
They must
tested, so
bill
I
it,
got to
yeah.
believe they're sending a bill to somebody.
Yeah, I don't know. Hey, Joy, how are you? Unmute. You're muted. There you are.
Oh,
Hey, everybody, I just wanted to let you know that we are going to start recording the meeting now, so keep that in mind as you talk.
Okay. All right. When we start the meeting, it'd be nice if people would stay muted until they're asked to talk, because sometimes background noise can really screw things up on these Zoom meetings. And if you start talking and you hear me, if I do that, that means you're still muted, or somebody does that to you. Okay.
well, Fletcher, because I'm dialing in
Oh, that's
on
a problem.
the phone, and I had to press 06 or *6 or something to be unmuted. So I don't know how can I mute on my phone where it says
I think
mute?
you're okay. I mean, you haven't got a lot of little kids running around or dogs barking. As long as you're not, it's fine. Yeah. I wouldn't mess
Okay.
with it. I don't want to accidentally cut you off and not be able to talk. Yeah.
Okay.
I haven't noticed. Sometimes there's just a lot of background noise for people. Bob, how are you? You're muted.
I'm doing well. How's everybody?
Good. Well, we have a quorum.
Well, hello, Bob.
Hello there, Ms. Oswald. How are you?
I'm just fine, thank you. Everybody's well?
Yes, fortunately. Knocking wood as I say that.
Yes, everybody knock wood.
Okay, we got a couple people on here. I got 3 more minutes to go here.
Mr. Mayor, could you just recite the Pledge of Allegiance rather than have that everybody trying to keep up?
Yeah.
Is that possible?
Yeah, I'll try it. I'm not sure I can do it from memory. Yeah, sad to say.
Or we can all do it on mute.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, it sounds really weird. We're trying to do it together.
All righty, we got like 58. So we got Ray is on here now. I don't see Ray. Or Catherine. We're missing. Oh, there's Catherine. You there, Catherine?
Catherine's here, yeah.
Yeah, I see her. Yeah, okay.
Here.
Okay. Hey, Catherine, how are you?
Hey, I'm good.
Good evening. Good evening. All right, we're missing Ray. And Mavis is 202. No, that's my wife. Okay. Didn't recognize the number there. That's pretty sad. She's over in Williamsburg. So.
Seven.
Yeah, wait a minute. All right. Okay, well,
That's okay.
all right, I'm going to call the Anancock January meeting, the Anancock Town Council to order. Lisa, can you take the roll, please?
Mayor Foskey,
Present.
Councilmember Bloxham,
Present.
Councilmember Moreno. I see her.
She's here, I guess. I don't know. Yeah. She's muted.
Okay. Councilmember Krause,
Present.
Councilmember Berger, Councilmember Oswald,
Present.
Councilmember Gillespie.
Present.
Majority of members are present and we have a quorum, sir.
Oh, thank you, Lisa. Okay, I'm just going to do the Pledge of Allegiance myself, and we don't have to go along with it. So it's kind of awkward when we're all doing it. So I'm going to do it. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All righty. Get to the agenda here. Sorry about that. All righty. Okay, consideration of the approval minutes from the December 21st, 2020 Town Council meetings. Has everybody had a chance to review the minutes? If so,
Yes.
any corrections from any council members?
One typo, and that's it.
Uh,
I've already talked to Lisa about it. It's on page 4,
Okay,
and it
Yes,
just
I have
made-
Kerr Plan instead of Kerr Place. We'll update that.
all righty. Any other corrections, deletions, anybody? All right, can we have a motion to accept the minutes as presented?
I make a motion. I move that we accept the minutes as presented with a type correction.
Second,
Second.
Bob seconded. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, that's carried. Okay. All right, the public business, the first item in public business is a public hearing, and let me go down. It's the, look. Excuse me for I look at, I got my agenda on the phone here. This is a public hearing for a Airbnb at 37 King Street. I'm now going to call the public hearing to order. And Matt, Mr. Spunk, if you give us
Sure.
some, take over.
Sure. Mr. Will and Ms. Lynn Flynn have an offer to purchase number 37 King Street. As contingency on their offer, they have the need for a special use permit because they intend to use the front part of the dwelling as a homestay, and the rear part is going to have permanent residence in it. This is similar to the way it used to be used. The parcel has, or the part of the residence that would be used for homestay has 3 full bedrooms and 3 bathrooms, also has ample off-street parking. So I do believe that the application is consistent, found with the intent in the town code for the homestay use, and the application should be approved given the following conditions. The conditions are that there's no more than 6 homestay guests on the premises at any one time. That the homestay guests should use the parking provided on the property. There are renovations taking place right now. They're going to be completed before any homestay guests are there. They would be required in order for a homestay guest to take place, but I just wanted that as a condition that the renovations, when complete, that would trigger when the homestay are allowed. And that as a reminder to the new owner that homestay revenue is required to pay, they're required to collect and remit transient occupancy tax. But other than that, the application is in order, the property's in good order. The application was really thoughtfully and carefully presented to it. I added all of that. I did notify adjacent property owners as well as post the public hearing in the Post. And that's all I've got.
Any
Matt?
hold on a second.
Okay.
Any comments from, any written comments to you about this or any from neighbors or anything?
None from me, no.
Okay, all right, Mavis, go ahead.
I have a question. Did you say that they are in the process of buying, or they have already bought the property?
They have an
And
offer on the property.
with the condition that they can operate the homestay?
That's correct.
So if this homestay does not pass, they will not purchase the property?
That's my understanding for Mr. Flynn.
Okay. And for any other reason, if anything happens along the way and you've already granted this and they do not buy it, then it does not pass automatically to the next buyer, correct?
That's correct. It stays with the permit applicant, it doesn't transfer with ownership.
Yeah, I don't know if you all remember, but this property was an Airbnb, not an Airbnb, but a bed and
It was
breakfast.
B&B.
Yeah, and it was, I can't remember the gentleman's name, but they retired to Florida.
Al Cook. It was Al Cook.
Al Cook, right, correct. And he ran it for quite a while, and we didn't have any issues or anything with it. I think they actually built that thing on the back so they could live back there and have the front as the Airbnb, I mean, as the bed and breakfast.
That's
So,
true.
Any,
I'm just, my question is only about a conditional buy, that it be an Airbnb in the front, and that condition does not apply beyond them.
okay.
Yeah, it's only to the applicant.
Right, all right, let's,
Okay.
open up any public comment on this? I see the Flynn's are on here. You have a comment or anything, or? No? Okay. All right, any public comment about this homestay on King Street? Okay, I'm gonna,
Now,
okay.
is there any limit, and I mean, do we have limits on Airbnb stays?
I'm not understanding your question.
Is an Airbnb stay a month, is that still just?
I don't know the answer.
I think it's less, I think the ordinance says it's 3 weeks or less. After that, it becomes a rental.
Okay, and does anything change in terms of application of regulations or anything?
Well, long-term
Is
rental,
that-
we don't regulate those. If you rent for more than a month, that's not regulated by us. That's renting your house out, yeah, or more than 2.
Okay,
Yeah, right.
thank you.
I have a
Just
question. I have a question. This page that was in our agenda, what exactly is this? It just says Accomack County, Virginia, legend, road labels, parcels.
Yeah. What I did was I printed the property information from the Accomack County tax map for you. It shows the parcel number, it shows the layout where it is, which is the document you were referring to. That's
So
just
it's a-
literally a little map that the county tax map has on it.
And when I first looked at it, I thought these cannot be homestays or special stays or special requests. We would not have this made. Okay, I understand. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
All right, is there any more public comment? All right, I'm going to close the public hearing. I guess we'll move into council discussion or about this, or a motion from council. Any discussion from council?
No.
Do we have a motion to approve this homestay permit from someone, council?
Mr. Mayor, I move to approve special use permit 01-2 or .21 with the following conditions. No more than 6 homestay guests may occupy the premises at any one time, and all homestay guests must use the parking provided on the property.
Do we have a second? Oh, is that
Second
it?
it.
I'm sorry.
I'll
did I cut you
second
off?
it.
Aphis?
Yes.
Council discussion, anyone?
No.
All right, let's, all in favor?
Aye.
Hi.
I guess it's hard to tell who's voting aye. I guess we're gonna have to do this by, Joy, you said aye, right?
Yes.
Bob, aye. Yeah.
Aye.
Ray,
Aye.
Thelma,
Yes, aye.
Mavis,
Yes.
and Catherine.
Aye.
Okay, right, carries unanimously. Okay.
Thanks, everybody. Welcome to the neighborhood, Mr. and Mrs.
Yeah, thank you. Lynn.
Yes.
Let me get that done. All right. All right, the next, the next item of public business is a resolution to codify town code, and I'm going to turn this over to our town manager.
Sure.
This may be a little confusing for people, but you can
Well,
explain to it.
I'm hoping I can simplify it. The town code that was in existence as of June 22nd of 2020 was taken by Municode, who's a legal counsel firm, and also they do some website work so that we're going to be able to get this town code up on our website in a searchable format. That company took our existing town code as of June 22nd and updated all of the numbering systems so that it was more sequential and searchable, and also updated all of the state code references. At that point, we had the town code and the resolution that was included in your pack sent off to our town attorney. The town attorney agreed that everything was in order and that it did need to be codified, which basically means you're just accepting that this is the town code that's now being used from this point forward. Processes to change the town code, we can talk about when we reach the discussion items next on the agenda. But that's really all this is just updating that this is, or adopting that this is the code that we're going to use from this point forward. It's been updated for tax or state code references, as well as sequentially for searching and whatnot.
Matt, may I say?
Please.
And it means from this point forward, we're using the updated code or the code that we have approved prior to that, 2020.
No, it's the code that I sent everyone with all the updated references, all the numbers, the book that you picked up, Maphis. So
Right.
yeah, that's the
That's
code
the-
that we're going to be. That's the code that we're going to be
Everybody
managing to moving
book.
forward.
Everyone doesn't have that book.
Everyone has a PDF version of exactly what's in that book.
How do we get a book?
You
Ask
don't,
for
you
it.
have to buy them.
Yeah, Maphis borrowed the one that was for the public. We have 3 hard copy books, one for the mayor, one for myself, and one for the public access. Maphis borrowed the one that was for the public access.
Will we
All of you
ever,
were, go
sorry.
ahead. No, go
will
ahead.
we ever have a printed version of the code?
Because it's 447 pages long and they're going to be updated page references constantly, my suggestion is that you use the online version once it's updated, because it'll be searchable and current.
Don't they
Well,
want to charge us?
That's very
Yeah, and it's
difficult.
also, they charge us quite a lot of money for the PDF.
But we have a
well-
copy of the code now in a binder. It was given to me the day I came on council. And
Right.
yeah,
You have the
how
town
much
code,
are
or
we
the,
talking about to make a copy?
do you have a zoning code? You have the zoning thing or the
I
actual?
have
town
I
code?
have the entire code.
Whole,
It starts with the charter and ends up with zoning.
Okay.
right.
Yeah.
And this book, I tried to do it online, reading it and trying to,
Yeah.
I found it darn near impossible to not have it in front of me in a book form. So,
Well,
I mean,
one
and this
thing I
is
do
gonna
want to
take-
say is that the town code that would be added to our website is much more searchable. It's much more organized. It's got links in it that take you directly to the pages. Using a PDF is much more cumbersome, I will give you that. But once Municode adds that function to our website, which they'll do after you codify it tonight, you'll see how much more user-friendly it is. At the end of the day, if you want me to print 447 pages for everybody, I'll take it down to Eastern Shore Printers and we'll pay to have it printed. But my
think
issue
that-
is that every time town code changes, we're going to have to go through and reprint and reinsert all of the pages that got renumbered and all the sections that got adjusted through. So using the online version is going to be less expensive and more accurate. But again,
But it's
if
not-
it's the wish of council, I will gladly go down and have this printed.
How much
What-
are we
let me-
talking to have it
question
printed?
Hundreds and hundreds of dollars.
Well, let me ask a question, because how did we get, everybody has a book. Every new council member that came on board got a book. How was that possible to do without it costing hundreds of dollars every single time?
I don't think
Because
you
it
have a
wa-
full code.
Yes,
It
I
also
do.
wasn't it
Right here it
wasn't
is.
I do,
right.
This
It
is
wasn't
it.
administered. Okay.
yeah.
It wasn't
So why
administered
do-
by Municode. The company that we entered a contract with several years ago is the company that's administering our town code now. They're the ones who
Okay,
prepared this
yeah,
book.
but
They're the
once
ones that are gonna,
Once this is updated and done one time, I want it back in a notebook. I mean, I
then
don't
we'll print,
understand
then
why.
we'll print it.
why-
This is not a fight worth getting into. We'll gladly print you a
Anybody that
notebook.
wants one will print one off, just for, yeah, that's
Yeah.
fine, yeah. But realize it's, if you don't keep it up to date, it's not gonna do you any good. Yeah,
Right.
so,
Every time a new ordinance was changed or passed, we were supposed to get a page update. Now,
Mhm.
that's the way it was supposed to be done. And at the end of every one of these chapters, there's a space left for revisions and changes. So, and there are code numbers left so that if you added a code, you can just put that code in that place.
All right, well, let's move on from this. If you want a copy, tell Matt, he'll get what the cost is and he'll tell you and we'll print your copy, okay?
Okay, I don't want to talk about copies, but I do want to ask, I'm not clear on this. The code that you sent to us, Matt, as a PDF matches word for word the code that I was given when I joined council. Is that correct?
I can't speak to the code you were
With
given when
legal
you,
revisions.
I literally, I can't speak to that. I don't know what you were given. I don't have any way to know what you were given.
Well, we have made no, other than Municode's revisions, the council
Right.
has made no revisions to the code. Is that correct?
All I can say is that the code that you're codifying is the code that was in effect as of June 22nd of 2020.
And yes,
And may I say that I don't trust that any changes that were made from 2008 to present are in this book in this form.
I
I
thought
do not think they are, because I've had my book for all those years, and I don't think anyone has ever handed me a slip to say add this or that. And
well,
that's from
you might,
2008.
that's why we hired Municode to do this for us. I mean, that we were behind.
I
Yeah.
understand that, but what I'm saying is what Joy has and what I have may not be the same thing that's on that PDF file.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what
Well,
I was,
I
That's why
tried
the
to
PDF
compare
would be
the,
better to follow. It's more
Excuse me?
current.
I missed.
I will tell you that I went back through the minutes when I was getting the information together from Unicode to see what was changed and pulled all kinds of stuff that wasn't in the code book that we had for them to update. So I know that things have been added since then that were done over time.
Yeah, I mean, the code that you have, the 2008 code is obviously not going to have anything in the last 12 years in it. Yeah, if it
That's
hasn't been updated,
probably true.
that's true.
And
So,
but that's what I'm saying, where it was never updated, but there is the way the PDF reads now, or way the Unicode book is what I'm reading right now, why I have it in my hand, is to say that there's space available in that for any changes.
well,
So if you get
that's
page
hopefully going
12,
forward. That's
put
why
in
we,
a new page. Oh,
yeah, and that's why we hired these people, so we don't have this problem in the future to do this, to make it,
right.
you know,
Because
it's
this
an
has been
expensive
going on a very long
proposition.
time. Order.
We kept putting it off for years and years, it was always in the budget. We never ended up doing it. We finally, bit the bullet and did it. So anybody, we'll print one out for you. And yeah, any more questions beside printing? New things?
yes.
Yeah.
Like for instance, we discussed chickens and horses and several other items that were in the code. Those were not submitted in the revised edition, correct?
they're not, the changes that we've made since June 22nd are going to be codified in the next quarter. So they drew a line in the sand and said, as of June 22nd, this is what we're preparing for. Anything that we've done since really July 1 through now, then I'm going to send those new codes that you've adopted back to them. They're going to do the same thing they just did. They're going to put them in the number sequence. They're going to make sure the state references are okay. And then they're going to insert those into this book.
Does council have to vote on those?
No, you've already voted on them.
On the chicken stuff.
I think we discussed some of it, but I don't recall voting.
Anything that you voted on would be included. If it was only for discussion, you didn't adopt it. It's absolutely not going in the code.
Right, we did not adopt that.
You did not adopt the chicken code. No, you did not.
What have we adopted that will be in there?
I can
So-
share that with you at the I can share that with you at the following meeting. I'm glad to do that.
Okay.
All right. So
I'm good.
we're just voting on accepting the Municode version that they just sent us
Okay.
that goes to June of 2020 or July 1. Okay. Any further discussion on that? Okay. We need a motion to accept this Municode. Somebody want to read that?
Oh, you don't have to read the whole thing. You could just say that motion to adopt the resolution as included in the minutes. This is a couple pages long.
Okay. Somebody want to do that?
I move that we adopt the motion as written.
I second.
Any further discussion?
No.
Yeah, I'll do a roll call. Joy,
Yes.
Bob,
Aye.
Ray,
Aye.
Maphis,
Aye.
Catherine,
Aye.
Thelma.
Aye.
Is that everybody? Yeah. Okay, Carrie's, Lisa, you got that? Yeah, all right. Okay, and we're gonna have a lot more, over the next couple of years, we're gonna have a lot more discussions about the code as people want to change things, but
Yes, we are.
yeah.
And as we change, does Unicode, is that what the name of this company is? Do they update and update the file? Is that what happens?
Yep.
It updates online and
Yeah, that's exactly what happens. We've contracted with them to do quarterly updates. So once a quarter, March, June, September, December, we'll send them all of the code that you have adopted during that quarter, and then they'll update the book and they'll update the website.
okay, thank you.
Okay.
All right, the next agenda item is the motion to accept meeting dates for town council and committees for 2021. This is a perfunctory thing we do every January. Matt? you wanna do that?
Yeah, I don't have any comments other than the 2 pages worth of calendar meetings.
Yeah.
The only thing that's not in here is the strategic planning committee. But Mr. Mayor, I was going to work with you to get something set up that
Okay.
work for all the members.
All right. Do we have a motion to accept these meeting dates? Hello?
I move that the meeting dates be accepted.
Thank you, Thelma. Second,
Second.
all in favor, just say aye. We don't listen.
Aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you. We're down to council discussion. I think I was going to maybe move public comment up to, it's about because the council discussion could go on for a while here. Is that going to be a problem?
Oh, so you want to move public comment?
Yeah, I think there's some people.
Council
that have-
discussion on the agenda?
Yeah, if that's okay. I think we're going to have some public comments and things. So I'm going to open it up to public comment about any items that were not on the public business or, and you can come back. I'll let you come back, and when we get to council discussion we can come back. But I think there might be some people on here that want to say something and then, not sit through the rest of the meeting. So if there's any public comment, is anybody interested in talking about the development over in the carnival ground? Do we have anybody? Any comments on that at all?
I'd had a little get together with Matt. He explained things rather well to me. It did take a certain amount of the trepidation off of what I was seeing up there. So I'll let it ride.
Okay, all right.
Thanks,
What
Larry.
was that, please?
That was Larry Fry.
Yeah.
Larry lives over on that way. All right, any other comments? I was specifically talking about the carnival ground. If not, I'll go back to public business.
Fletcher, can council make a comment? I have something. I
Sure.
have a concern. Okay, my concern is on behalf of the residents of our town. As I've mentioned before in council, Warren Street is, as far as I know, you can correct me if I'm wrong, the only unpaved street in our town. It's semi-gravel with big pools of water, and it's a health hazard because of the mosquitoes. So I'm concerned about Jefferson and Justice Street. What are the requirements for those streets? Can they throw down oyster shells or gravel? And
I thought you talked with Matt about this earlier today. Didn't he?
no, I didn't talk with Matt.
You
Oh.
talked with me on Friday,
Okay.
and then again in the email that I sent you about Carnival Ground, it directly discusses the VDOT requirements for Jefferson and Justice. Is there anything in that email that wasn't clear?
Well, I thought you were just talking about the existing roads. I'm talking about the roads that are going to go in. Jefferson is not a road yet, right? It's a paper road.
They'd have to
as-
be built
as-
to state standards. Yeah.
Road.
And
But-
so all new construction of roads must be built to VDOT standards. Is that what you're saying, Fletcher?
That's my understanding. Matt?
Yeah, the VDOT standards are for compaction and asphalt type. They're not for width of streets. So the concerns that I've heard are about the width of Jefferson. Yes, it's bumpy, and yes, we have a solution for that, but it's not going to be widened. I spoke with Chris Isdell at VDOT. He explained really carefully that these roads were transferred into the secondary system of VDOT probably 40 or 50 years ago. The standards that they transferred in as far as width are the standards that they are required to maintain. So the width standards will not change. The compaction and the type of asphalt used, those will need to change. And as any work gets done, those would need to change to VDOT standards. Does
So
that help?
Yes, that's very
Okay.
helpful. Width does not change, but compaction does.
Well,
Yes.
I have a question about a paper road is already got a width on it, so they would do that width?
Right.
Yeah,
Okay,
Yeah.
so they would not make it any wider than the existing paper right-of-way paper road, correct?
that's my understanding from Chris. Yeah,
And that's not as wide as they're requiring roads to be now, correct?
that's correct. That's absolutely correct.
Right, okay.
Yes.
All
Yeah.
right, we have a lot
No,
of
they-
narrow roads in
Yeah,
town.
no, the roads, when they get transferred, when they transfer into, oops, hang on.
Hello.
Lisa, can you mute our friend?
Thank you, thank you.
Lisa,
You got it, okay.
did you?
Yeah, nope, coming back again.
No, there it is.
They keep unmuting themselves. I'm not sure what to tell you about that.
Blocked him.
All right, anyway, all
Okay.
right. And
They
any-
left.
All right. So
Any-
that, did that answer your question? The width will not change because it takes on the VDOT standard at the time that it was transferred into their system, which in this case was something like 40 or 50 years ago. But any repairs or
Sorry, I can't hear you. Any what?
The bitches on sucking on my
Any way to take that,
yeah, I think we can just exclude them, can't we?
Lisa, you want to eliminate that?
booty hole. Ramon.
I removed them. I've not done that before, so let's see how that works.
Okay. all
Okay,
right,
thank you. Appreciate the effort.
all right.
So that any repairs or repaving that gets done needs to be done at current VDOT standards for compaction and asphalt type, but not, it won't adjust the width.
Thank you.
Okay,
I have
All
a
right.
comment.
okay, Mavis, go ahead, please.
Okay. My concern is how this information about this development, which you're not calling a development, but can be not be anything else.
No one cares
Uh,
for.
Excuse me?
That's somebody else, Mavis, don't worry about that. I don't know who-
I don't know what else you could call it, but the neighbors find out about this
Nobody
process
fucking cares for.
with a sign being posted rather than someone saying that there's going to be 21 homes built on this property and it's going to affect the face of your neighborhood. And
No one
any
likes
of-
you, Mavis.
and any
Somebody
other-
want to delete that person? Hold on.
Which one is, I'm not sure which one was said that.
Uh,
I think his name was Michael.
Okay, I don't see Michael on here. Sorry, I don't know what's going on, y'all.
We just got
Well,
some,
the name is bouncing around because the person is renaming themselves.
All right,
Mm.
I'll try my best.
Thank you. Appreciate you, Lisa.
Mavis, we have somebody keep butting in, so we'll, go ahead.
Mayor, can you show us your cock?
when I purchased,
Oh,
when we had
this,
property,
excuse me, I know what's going on. We're on an unsecured Zoom. Anybody can come in and do this.
Well, it's a
It
public
happens all
meeting.
the time.
We allow people to come in, so.
Yeah, it's a public meeting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Joy, shut the fuck up, you old whore.
Jeez.
Yeah.
She's removing people. She's removing people constantly here.
Yeah, here's another one I'm gonna take right off too. If
Yeah,
I
if you could
remove you
just-
and you shouldn't have been, I apologize ahead of time.
Like whack-a-mole.
This is messed up. Y'all are hacked.
We're not, I mean,
Yeah, you
it's a
are.
public
You're right.
meeting.
when property is purchased, the residents should be, on a big tract like this, we should have something in place, let people know what's going on. Just because the first time I experienced anything like this was when we owned property on South Street, and there was no system in place to even advise the adjacent neighbors that the property that was once zoned unbuildable because it was too close to the water had been given a variance. And now we do a registered letter to residents because that was a loophole. And I think we are in the same kind of situation here, that people were not informed. And when you're not informed, you can make all kinds of allegations and thoughts go through your head as to why this, or would this property be developed in my neighborhood? You know, it's just wrong the way we're doing this. So I would like the council to consider, for future reference, that there be a place or something in place that when a big tract of land like this is developed, that people are informed. And it would have been courteous for the builder to come forward, as have all others before him, come forward and say, look, this is what our plans are, and it's not going to be a problem in your neighborhood. End of story.
Okay, thank you. Any further comments? Okay. Any other public comment about anything else? So we're on public comment on people. Okay.
Yeah, wait, I would, sorry, it took me a while to get up. This is Sandra Scher. I am one of the people that are living on Jefferson, building a home there. And I just wanted to say thanks, Mavis, because I agree with what you were saying. I think it would have been important to at least be able to speak with the builder and that kind of thing to get a better idea of what's going on, because it seems so secretive, to tell you the truth. So that's it.
Thank you. I mean, we're not trying to hide anything from anybody. We were trying to follow the law, and the law, he bought individual lots that are already plotted. Be honest with you, if they hadn't deeded the property to the town for the, in the back area, we wouldn't have been notified about anything, because they bought existing lots. And according to the law, they don't need anything from the town to build on an existing lot. So if we want to put something in place, that's possible.
The lots from whom, Mr. Mayor?
I'm sorry?
From whom were the lots purchased? And who is selling the lots?
The fire department sold the lots. Yeah, they own the lots, but the lots are of record, so they're building on existing lots. So you don't need any zoning. They weren't requesting a zoning permit or anything.
And this is not a developer. This is I don't understand between a developer. I don't understand how you can tell me that in 18 to 24 months, 21 homes will be built if it's not a development.
It may be a development. I'm just following the law that we have on the books in the town. It does not. It's not a subdivision. It was already subdivided back in the 50s. So they sold off. It just, one person came in basically and bought all the lots.
I know I made the mistake of calling it a subdivision, but right. I'm looking at it from now as a development, and a property that's developed that we are going to enhance with sewer. We should know a little bit more about it than the fact that it's going to just be a private sale.
Well, I agree with you, but going forward, we might want to put something in. I don't know what it would be if somebody comes up with some language, but I'm just saying that we weren't trying to hide anything. We were following the law. We're not, and the developer was following the law. Like I said, we would have just seen building permits come in to the county. We don't know our own building permits if they hadn't given us the property as a gift. So we don't have any.
Why did we gift? Why did we get that gift?
The fire department wanted, and the developer wanted to do that because it was undeveloped.
I mean, I'm confused about the why on this whole thing.
They wanted to make a deed some property to the town that the town could use, and as a show of good faith. I can't tell you why. I think it's a win-win for everybody. There was nothing, there were no conditions on the gift. We can do whatever we want with the property. And they weren't asking for a zoning change. So there was nothing they were trying to get from us. They could have done everything that they're doing with the existing zoning. The zoning was changed in 2007, a long time
But
ago.
there is a plan for the property, and I don't have a problem with this. I have a problem with procedure.
Well, we followed the
Purely-
correct procedure. I don't understand why you have a problem with procedure. If you want to put we followed the procedure. If you want to put different procedures in
I'm not
the
saying the
future, that's
town
fine.
did not follow procedure. I'm saying I did not know that there was going to be no information given to the council as to what this development is going to look like. I thought we were going through the normal subdivision kind of process with this. I didn't understand, nor was anybody else informed that this is how it would be.
I can't tell you.
Under normal circumstances, all those neighbors would have been informed. The town would have had a public hearing under normal circumstances for a subdivision. But this is not a subdivision.
I understand what you're saying, but we approved a subdivision north of Kerr Street many years ago, and I don't know how many lots are over there, Matt. How many? A bunch of them. Yeah. Anyway, so if somebody comes and bought all those lots and wanted to build, we would not have any control over that. It's already been subdivided. So once the subdivision, they had a public hearing a long time ago, and so that it's been subdivided into lots. There's nothing to stop one person from buying all the lots and building houses on them. It's not a subdivision anymore. I just want to get it out that we followed the rules. We're not trying to hide anything. If we want to change it, it might be a good idea in the future to have some kind of, I don't know how we would do that, to control private, when somebody wants to come in and build a house, we don't come in and ask them to see their plans or anything. I mean, or multiple housing. I don't know. I understand your concern.
Well, when somebody buys a lot, Mr. Mayor, when someone buys a lot and they decide that they're going to build a 8-story mansion, whatever, there's a rule against that. So you are
They follow the
informed.
zoning rule. It's a zoning. We have that in place. These people have to follow that. They're not requesting.
Right.
There's
I
no question that they're going to follow
zoning laws
setbacks.
followed is in this as well.
Yeah, I understand I'm just saying that I feel that we followed the procedure and we didn't do anything wrong. And I feel like I don't want people to think we did. And we're not hiding anything. And I know.
I'm not expecting you to feel defensive. I'm just,
I'm not
all I
defensive.
said was I would hope that council will take this under advisement and look to the future and say that when there's a big tract, there are several large tracts of land available for sale in this town. And if we have something in place so that neighbors are informed, then I think it would be a good idea. That's all.
Well, I agree with you. And most of the tracts we have are big tracts that would need to be subdivided, and they would fall into the subdivision. This is a weird one in that it was subdivided in the 1950s or 60s. So, it's weird. All right, well, okay.
Is the one on Jackson Street also been drawn into lots?
I'm sorry, I don't know where, the one north of Carr Street?
Yes.
Yeah, that was granted years ago. Nothing's ever happened on that property. I can't remember how many lots are over there, but they've never developed, but there is a subdivision in existence there, and they can build on it without further action from council.
Right.
And I can understand if people live near that and didn't realize it was a subdivision, and all of a sudden they see houses coming up. There's not much we can do, but we did grant the subdivision permit for them.
How about the 100-acre farmland here on Liberty? Has it been divided into lots? I know that there's a paper road on it.
No, I don't know. No,
I don't think that it's been
I don't think
divided.
so. I think that's one tract. I can't answer that without looking at it, but I'm pretty sure you're talking about the Van Kesteren property there.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure that's not been subdivided, but there might be a paper road.
So if someone comes forward to subdivide that property, the current owner decides to subdivide it to lots, is there any restriction or there's no restriction on subdividing their own property, correct?
No, they'd have to get a subdivision permit, and that they have to follow the rules.
And that would be, wait a second, please. I'm just saying that the purpose of the subdivision would be to say that sometime in the future, I can sell this now and it can be developed without anybody giving you any guff.
You have to read the subdivision ordinance. They have to follow the rules in the subdivision. Most of it's.
I read the subdivision ordinance, and it only applies to what is subdivided and how did in 1950 these lots get subdivided and nothing ever happened there. So what is to stop Liberty Street from doing the same thing, and then it goes without any oversight from the town?
They would have to get a subdivision, or, approved.
Yeah, but what, Mr. Mayor, maybe I'm not making myself clear. I'm asking a hypothetical, and I'm saying if that Liberty Street lot property, the current owner wanted to have just to subdivide it for his own future references, would that be possible?
I cannot quote the subdivision ordinance.
Possible
from memory.
is all I'm asking.
I can't answer that question. I have to look at the subdivision ordinance. I'm not a real estate attorney. I'd have, they have to follow the subdivision ordinance, basically. We have a, certain.
They have to submit a plot to say that they were subdividing these lots in accordance to what the R1 or R2 or whatever it is over there, whatever. That's all they have to do, is to say, I'm subdividing this property into 30 lots, and it's still beyond.
If it's in R1,
okay.
They'd have to meet the R1 requirements, yes. Yeah, if it's
that's what I'm saying. I understand that. If they meet the R1 requirements, is there anything to stop them from subdividing it now and hanging on to it and selling it in the future as a subdivided lot?
They have to meet certain road requirements. They have to meet water and sewer. If we can't meet that, I think we could probably deny them for that, things like that. I know there are issues, drainage issues, things like that.
So at the risk of practicing law without a license, which is a class 4 misdemeanor, as one of my former friends used to tell me, I don't believe that a subdivision is a right necessarily. I believe the town would have the ability to request proffers of the developer, either monetary or property improvements in conjunction with the town's possible approval of it. So I think, to answer your question, Maphis, the town council would have a lot of input on any rezoning requests that resulted in a subdivision of a property that's not already subdivided.
Thank you. And if there was no reason to object, then we would approve it, and then they don't have to develop it. That's all I'm asking.
No, they can get, you're right. They can get a subdivision, sit on it for years and years. Yeah.
There we go.
Right. Yeah. That's yeah.
Okay. Think about it.
All right. All right. Any other public comment? All right. I'm going to close the public comment, and we'll get back to the main agenda here. Okay, Matt, what we got up? I can't pull my agenda up. Yeah.
The first code that's for discussion. Now, please keep in mind, these are for discussion in council, not for action. So nobody's requiring a vote or even asking for a vote tonight. The first code is for the town wharf. There's two intents behind this. The intentions are this. If you remember, the County of Accomack is changing the nature by which users of their ramps have access. If you have a boat registered in Accomack and it's listed on your personal property tax return, on that property tax return, you're going to be mailed a decal. That decal is going to be put on your boat or trailer, and it's going to allow you use of the ramp. The way that it's worded is a little bit unique in that ramp use is available and free for all. Yeah. Parking in the county without one of the decals that's on your personal property tax return, that has a charge. Onancock is following the county in how we're going to administer our ramp use. Ramp use will be free to all, and that we will collect a parking fee for any boat that does not have a county decal provided in their annual property tax return. That's the first major change to our code. It is, I can tell you, it's very, very close to the county. They were kind enough to share me their verbiage, and I took their verbiage, put it in our format, changed a couple of the names, and made sure the tenses were correct. So the code for parking a boat in the town of Onancock comes very closely off the heels of the hard work that the people in Accomack County did for their ramp use. And it's already also gone through all of their legal review, and legal counsel and their supervisors have adopted it. At this point, the county administration is going through like literally how we're going to do all this, but our policy basically mirrors the county's policy. And the rest of the code was, if you remember, we had a conversation a couple months ago where we talked with the waterfront committee about community use of the floating docks and the slips. That's also in the rear of this code. So we already had that conversation. It was for 4 hours of free use, check in with the harbor master type of thing. So those two things are in this one town wharf code: parking instead of ramp fee, and community use without charge of our slips, for unreserved slips. I want to make sure I get that in there correctly. Okay, so I'm happy to entertain any questions or just sit back and listen to the debate.
Well, I'm curious, Bob, has this been run through the waterfront committee?
Yes, Matt has kept the waterfront committee apprised of these proposed changes. From my perspective, the fact that we're going to mirror the county is a strong positive. We want to send the message to being boater friendly, and to the extent that we're doing the same thing that Accomack County is, I think that sends the appropriate message. And as we've discussed, waterfront committee is very much on board with the free usage for up to 4 hours for anybody that just wants to tie up, come into town and walk around.
Good.
Are you gonna still follow the 4 hour plan that you suggested a couple months ago?
I didn't catch the first part of your sentence, Ms. Gillespie.
I said that you're gonna follow that the 4 hour plan. Before you said that they will be able to use the slips up to 4 hours without worrying, but they
That's
would have to
correct.
notify the harbor master.
Yeah, that's absolutely
Will that
correct.
still be the case?
Yes,
We're not voting on this tonight. This is just for discussion. It's coming up.
that's correct.
You have to have a public hearing, right? Yeah. So if anybody has any, it's a lot of stuff here. If you have any issues about it, talk to Matt individually. If there's a specific, sentence or word in there that you would like clarified, I'm sure he can. It is a lot of information here. And if
It is a dense
not
piece of work.
If you're not familiar with the wharf operations, it might seem, overly dense. Yeah.
Is the charge, the $30 charge for each vehicle, that is going to be on the county taxes, Matt?
But that's in the next code.
Yeah,
So
you're-
if we're done with the
Just talk
town
about
wharf,
wharf.
Okay, I'll wait. Sorry, I wondered if
No
that was
worries.
the case.
All right. Does anybody, any other questions about the wharf changes? All right, let's like I said, we're going to get another 2 bites at this, correct? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, we're
Public
gonna,
hearing
just so
input.
everybody knows, the way that we're gonna do it is we're gonna introduce any suggested code change. And that includes if you folks see a town code that you would like discussed or altered, present it to the mayor. He and I will put it on the agenda. We'll come forward first in a council discussion for, look at this is what staff recommends based on what we've heard. You discuss it, then the following month we have a public hearing. And at that point, if anything comes from the hearing that we're interested in adding or amending, then we would adjust it. In the 3rd month, we would ask for a vote. So these are thoughtful steps. The first step is just simply presenting a staff recommended code and for your consideration and discussion, but no vote.
I did have a question, Matt, about any person violating sections 36 through 23 shall be guilty of a class 4 misdemeanor. That's only a $250 fine, but that's, that could be a lot of money to some people, most people. But the part that bothers me is if a person tries to apply for a job, then they are guilty of a class 4 misdemeanor. That seems a little stiff to me.
That's the state law. This is not
This is
town
the state?
imposed. Absolutely, yes.
So that was put in by Municode?
Yeah, it's absolutely put in by state code. And if you look at the reference that's there, that's really where I'll call it the consequences of a code violation. That's who stipulates that.
Okay.
I have a question about the sticker. So
Yeah.
the county plan, if you have your boat registered in the county, they're going to issue a sticker to put on your boat. And that will enable you to park your trailer in the town for free.
Yes.
Okay. So let's say we have the town enforcement officer going around checking trailers. How is he going to know the boat has a sticker on it if the boat is out in the bay?
Because in order to get the boat into the bay, they had to use the ramp. And the person, what I'll call what you just referred to as the enforcement
Really big
officer
sticker.
is going to be staffing the ramp.
Okay. It
So
seems to
that's
me
where we're
it'd
going
be
to
a lot
collect. That's where we're
easier
going to
to
collect our
have the
parking
sticker
fees.
on the
ramp.
trailer rather than the boat.
Yeah, I honestly say that we meaning the county administration is literally going through every possible scenario to find the smartest way to do this, because we all want our ramps to be used by everyone, but we don't want it to be used up by folks who are just coming in, dropping their boat, leaving, and not supporting local businesses, not supporting local restaurants. So this is, I think, a really smart initiative on the county's part to try to make the ramps available to everyone. But if you're gonna park here, we need you to be able to, there needs to be a charge for that. So I don't know whether it's going to be on the trailer or on the boat itself. I don't know, I mean, one of the things that we're thinking is that if you buy a day pass, it's going to be prominently displayed on your dash so that, if you're parked in town, we'll be able to see the date and time, that type of thing. But the administration of the policy, all of us are still trying to go through and figure out what's going to be the smartest way to do it.
Right.
What we want to get in is that the policy itself is what we need to be able to manage to. So that's really where we are tonight.
Okay, that sounds good. I like how it would be uniform across the county. So I think that would make it easier for residents.
Yeah.
When you visit different boat ramps, you understand the rules. The same apply from ramp to ramp.
Yeah.
You currently have to do this in Chincoteague. When we go over there, you have to stop and buy a day pass to launch from the wharf. So the $30 that we're charging each vehicle would be on our account.
That's different than this code. So it's not related to the wharf. It's not related to the boat ramp.
You're talking about the car.
Yeah, the vehicle license is the next item on the agenda. So if we want to look at, if we're done talking about the boat ramp and the parking of trailers in town, I'm happy to move on, but I don't want to move on prematurely.
I think we're good.
Okay. So the next code that we wanted you folks to discuss was the vehicle license. Currently, as you know, we have vehicle decals for cars housed inside of a Nancock. You need to get a decal and it needs to be displayed on your vehicle. What we're learning is that, first of all, a lot of cars don't bother to get the vehicle decal, and it also causes an administrative burden on us to get the decals printed, to have them distributed, to have people come in to the office and get it taken care of. So what we're looking for is an easier way to collect the vehicle fee without making an administrative burden and making sure that we had sort of global participation, because there's an equity issue. If I pay for my decal and you don't pay for yours, that doesn't seem to be quite fair. So this proposed code flattens the playing field, makes sure everybody has a fee, and it reduces the administrative burden in the office. So it's one of those win-win-win. The fee of $30 that's been mentioned, honestly, that's the part that's subjective. I looked at Cape Charles and their fee is $31. I put it at 30. That part is going to be a budgetary conversation. Obviously, we're putting together the budget now for your review soon. And we'll use $30, but if we need less or don't need more, or, this is one of those things that will adjust with the budget. So keep that in mind.
But Matt, if you put that $30 into the code, isn't that kind of locking it in?
It's locking it in until you adopt a budget, and then the code would change.
The code would, well, you're saying wait a minute, you're not expecting to change the code with every budget?
Yes, we do. If we change.
Yeah, you do.
We do.
You change the code with every budget?
If we do a tax increase, we change the
So
code.
this is going to be code, is it not? So you would put the fee, lock it in there, and and next year you need more, next year you need less, you just change the code.
Correct.
Is that what
Yeah.
I'm getting?
Yeah, that's correct. It's the same as any fee or tax change. It's all ordinance. So when the budget changes, if it affects an ordinance, that related ordinance changes.
Okay, and you've already looked at budget and you're saying that we need to increase this fee?
I'm saying it's probable, but I haven't finished balancing the budget, of course, and that's what
do we
obviously
charge right now?
your review and your approval is going to take care of that. I mean, this was just $30 is less than Cape Charles, and it's a placeholder.
What do we
until
charge
do the
now?
budget.
27 or something?
$27 is what we pay now.
Okay.
And what do you get for that?
Another day older and deeper in debt.
Well, that's a budget consideration. Yeah, I mean, what do you get? Yeah, I mean, yeah.
I always ask when you're taxing people. That is a question that should be answerable. What do you get?
We're going to be prepared to answer that when we put the budget in front of you.
Good. Thank you.
I have a question. I am a resident of Oneoncock. I've been here for about a year and a half, and this is my first time hearing about having a decal on the car. I might be turning myself in.
That's the point, right?
Please don't take my car.
Keep that secret pretty good.
Don't take my car. But I am wondering, how are we getting the word out to new residents about this decal? And also, so this is on top of our property tax that we're paying on the car. So I'm paying Accomack property tax and the town of Oneoncock property tax on the car already. And then on top of that, I'm also supposed to pay $30 for a decal for each of my husband's cars.
You won't have a decal anymore.
I'm sorry?
You just
The decal's going away. We used to
Oh.
have, you're supposed to have a decal that you come into the town office and buy. That's going to go away. The decal will come through your taxes to the county. The county's doing that now. There's no county decal anymore. It's paid with your personal property with your car.
I'm just saying it's a fee, correct, Mr. Mayor? It's a fee.
Yeah, it's a
but
fee.
no-
We're just collecting in a different way. Yeah.
Okay, so
we're
I
not-
probably
yeah.
already paid it. And
Yeah,
we'll.
You're supposed to have a sticker on your car now. Yeah. Yeah. This way you won't, you won't have to tell anybody. They get it automatically. We get it automatically.
Okay.
But a resident that's been here over a year should be getting it in their personal property tax already.
Correct. Yes. When we adopt this, yes. So it'll solve the problem of people not knowing they need a sticker. It's a win-win, like Matt said. Yeah. Now, whether we $30 or 20, yeah, that's we can have that discussion in a couple, at the budget time. Yeah. But that we've always had a vehicle sticker tag, always,
I think my question, as I've asked it several times. Will this $30 be on our county tax? We'll pay it to the county and then the county will reimburse the town?
No, this is going to be billed individually by the town on our November due in December property taxes.
Okay.
So it'll be paid directly to the town.
Okay.
Good question.
But if you register a car in town, we're going to automatically pick you up with this, correct?
Yeah, when it hits the county asset list is what we use to bill our property taxes. So the same items that are taxed at the county are taxed at the town.
Right. Okay. All right. Any other questions on the car tax thing? Good questions. Thank you for. All right. What's the next one, Matt?
The next one is solid waste collection. We've had some complaints about folks leaving trash barrels or collection barrels out in front of their house on the curbside for, well, either 24/7 or completely, just leaving them out front. We didn't have an ordinance that precluded that. One of the other issues that we've got is folks taking their yard debris for the chipping and putting it out there, weeks in advance. So the intention behind this code modification is to limit the amount of time trash containers or yard debris can be left curbside in front of your house. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Question is why about the yard debris?
Yeah.
Because, well, the sticks stand
Because
out.
if you're chopping bushes, so you pile it up in one place and then move it forward one day, I don't think that's physically possible sometimes.
That's
So
why it's up for
this-
discussion.
Okay, I'm just saying that for my 2 cents, that doesn't make sense.
Well, the alternative is that stuff sits on the curb for 30 days and basically kills the grass and everything. Yeah.
Well, it's your grass.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it's up for discussion. I mean, I
Well,
think.
I was wondering about the people who have lawn care services that would come in and put the twigs on the side of the road.
Right.
And then if we adopt this, then the owner would have to pick up the twigs then and take them out to the road. It just seems like,
Yeah.
yeah. And,
Well,
and we have several houses in town that I know of right here in my neighborhood where that would be the case if we're not allowed to put the twigs out. But you're right,
And
it
that-
does kill the grass, but.
It's
And it would
also
be
an
a-
appearance issue,
I mean, I know some places, have a restriction about when you can put things out. In Williamsburg, you have you can't put bags of leaves out, a month before. It can't sit out there for a month. So there are pluses and minuses to this. I think we need to talk. This is just for discussion. I think everybody's got some good points, and maybe we need to talk about it.
Yeah, if I may say, when I'm going to be out of town for a while, I may wind up putting my garbage out just before I leave. I may not be coming back till, let's call it the weekend, and they pick up on Wednesday. It may sit there for 2 or 3 days before I get back. And you're going to
Correct.
penalize in that case, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I think what you're going to find is that this is going to be another complaint.
Enforcement by complaint.
Driven enforcement. So if your garbage can is out for a week and, everybody knows you're away, and then the next week you do what you always do, I don't think that's not the enforcement worry that we're having.
Okay. Yeah, because I have a brother in Richmond that I periodically go out to see, and, I'll leave on a Friday. I put out my garbage, doesn't get picked up till Wednesday, but I may not return until the following Friday.
Yeah, it's a problem, but there again, you got people have to look at your garbage cans for 4 days. It's either, you look at it either way. I agree with you. I don't know. This is for discussion. I think there's, going to be pros and cons for both things. So council should, talk to your neighbors, council people, and see what they think about this.
Is this open for public
I
discussion?
think we're overkill on a minor problem.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, we'll take, let me finish council's comments on this, and then we can take some public comment. Any further council things on this?
I just have one comment. This is Catherine. I just want us to be cognizant of the fact that this is code. And so we enforce code. So I think we need to be careful that we're not, cherry picking through code. So if we have something in there, then that's what the code says, and that's what we have to enforce.
Yeah, well, let's, like I said, this is for discussion. We've got time to talk about it. So everybody think about it. We have public comment on this, somebody? We're going to have a public comment period on this next meeting. So if you want to ask.
Yeah, I'm John Holdren, and I want to thank the council for considering these items. And of course, I support the trash can. Have a lot of problems with the twig ordinance, and we can get into all of that. I think some of that was discussed, but I live on Mount Prospect Avenue, and there are, everybody on my street seems to take great care to keep their lawns and everything looking nice. And sometimes, we got storms, we got this and that and the other, and people have to put their twigs out, not just the Friday before, but it's part of keeping the neighborhood looking nice. I don't object to anybody's twig pile. So I think that part needs a little more consideration, and that's all. Thank you.
Okay. Like I said, we'll have a public hearing on this at some point before we adopt anything. Any other comments on this thing? And like I said, this is for discussion, not voting or passing anything tonight. All right, thanks, Matt.
My pleasure.
All right, and I think we've covered other public comment. Move on to, I'm gonna find my agenda again.
You're up to committee reports, Mr. Mayor.
I got it. Yeah, committee reports. HRSD, Mr. Boxham.
I don't want to step on Matt's toes because I'm sure he's got that covered in his meeting, but we have a first draft of the master agreement, I'll call it, submitted by HRSD to our review committee, which we passed our committee comments back to our attorney the end of last week. Just saw an email from our attorney where we should be circling back, I think this week, to finish a revision, which will pass back to HRSD. And unless Matt knows something that I don't know, I think this could move along pretty quickly, at least the contract portion of it.
Okay, well, I guess Matt can finish up on that. Okay. At the town manager's report, if anybody has any questions about the HRSD, please, waterfront, they didn't meet, did they, Bob?
We did not meet. And Matt, I'm assuming no update on the one permit we're still in need of?
It's in my report, but no, not yet.
Okay. Planning Commission?
Did not meet. We'll meet next month.
Okay. We have some, in terms of the Planning Commission, we have a couple of vacancies there. Is it being published that we need people to sign up at the town if they're interested in being on the Planning Commission, Matt?
We've got Mrs. Greer, the chairperson, has 2 people who have expressed interest in the openings. We need to do a nose count of those who are interested in remaining and working on the committee, because our big project coming up is that in May, council is going to at least consider for adopting the comprehensive plan. And we've got a lot of work to get done between now and then. So we need to get the committee populated with folks who are interested in doing the work. So we've got a few months of intense effort in front of us, and Ms. Greer has people to speak with about that. I also understand that there's one other person in town that might be interested if the opportunity presents itself. So
okay.
If that, to answer your very direct and simple question, if those don't pan out, then yes, we will be soliciting membership.
Okay. All right. If anybody is interested, please, forward your name to Matt if you're interested in being on the Planning Commission.
Please.
Yeah. All right. What else we got here? The personnel, Catherine?
We did not meet.
Okay. Strategic planning, we did not meet. Matt, I'm gonna let you give your report because I don't really have much, and I'll add something if you don't cover it.
Okay. All right. So mine, I'll try not to be too long-winded, but it's full. As you all know, the office remains closed because of COVID. We don't have any way to physically distance when people come in the main entryway. We're physically distanced inside. We are there. We're answering phones and emails. But when people come in the front, we don't have any way to manage that. So for the safety of our public and our employees, we're remaining closed to the public. The next item is my budget 2022. I have a proposed, you're all going to get my report in writing, so you don't have to feel like you need to write notes, but my preliminary schedule for the 2022 budget is to have our internal first pass budget done by February 9th. Then council's meeting on the 22nd, you're going to look at that for the first time. We think you'll probably want at least one work session, and I've got March 15th sort of penciled in for that. March 22nd, I would recommend a public hearing so that our residents and business members can opine on what they'd like to see happen in our town budget. And then on the 26th of April, I would vote for the last of the public hearings so that people can have a sense of what the council is deciding to move forward with. and then for council in May to adopt on the 24th. So internally we'll have it, we'll present it to you as a first draft on 22nd. March will be a pretty full month worth of budget, either workshops or sessions, as well as the meeting and public reviews and public hearings, and then we'll adopt in May. Again, all of this is in writing in my report. The CDBG grant, which is designed to help local businesses with up to $15,000 of rent, mortgage, or retooling because of COVID. We've actually received 2 completed grant applications in, and I know there's a couple more that are in the works. So we're really excited about that we're going to be able to review these applications, learn what we wish we knew at the beginning, help people navigate their way through it, because we're really hoping to give away every single penny of this. It's $450,000, and it's going to do a lot of good. So I'm really happy that after all of the enormous amount of work it took to get this thing to this point, that we're actually receiving applications. The FEMA grant that I had applied for way back when, we got notification that the monies have been designated, and we should be receiving a little over $5,000 from FEMA here shortly. The property on Justice Street that we had our public hearing for back in October, we're moving forward with the sale of that property. Obviously, nothing's going to happen until council has a chance to review everything, but we did already have that public hearing for that property disposal. The boat ramp Bob mentioned, we're waiting only for the Army Corps of Engineers. It's been assigned for them. They've had it for a week or 2, maybe. They use the same permit application system as the state. So I'm hoping that because it's already passed through the state's issue, that the Army Corps will be able to get that to us. We're still expecting probably late February, early March shovel in the ground for that. HRSD, as Bob mentioned, we did receive the first contract from HRSD for the transfer of the system. Our internal review committee had a lot of really thoughtful comments. We really tore that thing up, added a lot of things that we wanted to have considered, and then kicked that down to our council, Pender and Coward. They're reviewing it, and they're going to discuss with our team mid to late this week, and then they'll have a response to HRSD's first pass, and I asked that be done and completed by February 1. We met with the HRSD billing company. If you remember, one of the considerations that we'd like to have is when we transfer the system, we would also like to transfer the billing of water and sewer to use HRSD system. We met with the billing company that does that. Super smart, super good people. And it looks like we're going to be able to move forward with a really robust and thoughtful billing system for water and sewer. Sort of tangibly, this Friday, the electricians and the engineers from HRSD are coming to the plant to do the full asset review and look at all the things that we wish we had the money to fix over all these years and put it in their own operating budget. So we're moving. If you remember, I've already met with our staff and their HRSD's HR department to find out what it would look like and make sure that our employees are going to be very well cared for in the transition. And let me assure you, they are. Another subject is online payment. One of the things that we noticed from the very beginning is that we didn't have a very robust online payment portal for town charges. We just entered a contract with a company called Invoice Cloud. They interface directly with our software. So every bill that you pay is going to be updated with actual live information. So when you go to pay a bill online, it's going to be your account. It's going to be current up through the previous night. It's not real time, but it's up through the previous day's activity. So it's really good information. It's really user friendly. And again, it's going to be my proposal in the budget that the town absorb all charges for online payment, because when you buy something, it doesn't matter how you pay, the price stays the same. So that's the kind of the methodology that I'm using going forward. Whether you use a credit card or cash, it still costs the same thing to buy the service. So the online payment is coming. I just started conversations with VIP, which is Virginia Investment Pool. They're the folks who we've used for a long time now for our the investment return on our treasury. I'm working with them to look at a little bit more standard investment protocol for all of our funds. So I just started that work. Upcoming activities. I know I've got some people who are very eager to start talking about this. It's what I'm calling the infrastructure plan. Infrastructure or streets. We've got some streets that are in tough shape. Ms. Marino mentioned Warren. Warren we're already getting quotes for that. The asphalt plants are closed. There's nothing we can do over the winter as far as taking care of Warren Street. I've talked to a couple of the residents. They're obviously very eager to move forward. But I'm trying to understand, or I'm trying to help them understand that the asphalt plants are closed. There's nothing I can do in the winter. But come springtime, we've got 2 paving companies who are looking at that to tar and chip that to be brought up to our minimum standards. But also, in addition to Warren, we've got Jackson. That is a hot mess. I mean, it is just structurally a mess. I had an engineer come by as a favor and give me a little bit of what would it take in order to get this street up to the point where, and it is a big, big project. So it's one of those things. So we've got Jackson, we've got Warren. Down at King, there's some drainage issues. Over on Justice and Johnson, there's some flooding and drainage issues. So what I'm looking at is putting together an infrastructure plan to try to figure out what we need to do to all of our streets to bring them up to the point where we're proud to have them in Hancock. That's what I'm looking for. So that's going to be coming forward. And obviously the funding for that is a key point. We're going to be looking, there's some transportation funds available. I think that once President Biden gets his legs under him, I think there's going to be a ton of money for infrastructure. And I want to be project ready when those funds become available. I don't want to be waiting on the bigger projects. I want to have a project ready plan to put in place when infrastructure dollars are made available. So that's what that's all about. As we've talked about, we got a really generous donation of undevelopable land behind the carnival grounds. We've talked in passing about having that as a good spot for a dog park. I'm putting together a project plan for what that might look like budget-wise, risk-wise, infrastructure-wise. What's the fence going to cost? What's the water, what's the water line? Do we have lights back there? All that kind of thing. So I'm putting together a plan that we can bring to council and then have council decide whether or not that's a plan we want to move forward with. We're in 2021, 22, we're going to make a very concerted effort to very consistently and thoroughly collect our receivables. We've got a lot of personal property tax that's gone a long time without being collected, and some other issues as well. So we're going to put together, we're working with our new town attorney as well as current staff to really put a dedicated effort to make sure that our accounts receivable are brought current and that the assets of the town are managed well. One of the nice things that I decided to do inside of my town manager's report was put a list of all new business applications, all new business license applications. And I went back a couple months, so these aren't all in the last week, but we have Magpie Garden as a florist on North and King. We have Nemo's, that's a hot dog stand outside OBS. We have 1111 Spa, that's a spa over at the Hoss. We have Pen and Sword Marketing, which is a home business. We have Beyond Numbers Consulting, which is another home business. And we have Reed's Cleaning, which is another home-based business. So I love hearing that we're starting to attract businesses to town. I know we've got a lot of work to do, but that's going to be really exciting. I think if we make a great town to live, businesses are going to follow. So that's the end of my report. Thank you.
Matt, may I ask a question?
Of course you can.
Thank you. I just don't want to step on toes here. The online payment plan that you're working on,
yeah.
Will that will that include all payments online, not just water and sewer?
Yes, that was the key driving force behind it, was that we want to have at least our property and real estate taxes, any fees that we collect. I'd love to see if I could get our zoning application, our special use application, and water and sewer, of course.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Matt? Okay, that's good. Okay, that's, I guess we're at the end here. Any council comments? I guess we're going to do that, and then we'll go into, we have a closed session. Any council comments? Guess I'll go.
The mayor, Mr. Mayor, you said you had.
Oh, you're right. I don't really have a report. I don't have much. Matt has done a good job.
Okay, never mind.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think I'd like to thanks Matt for, his communications with the reports are, really thorough, and I feel like council's getting a lot more, updates and stuff. Appreciate your help with that, Matt.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. The comment about the Carr Street leak, were very nice, the constant commenting about that.
Good.
Yeah, all right.
Did everybody, just question, did everybody get that either by text or by email?
I got it by email.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, I got it. Email. Yeah.
Yeah, and I got it by text.
Yeah. That's,
Excellent.
yeah.
Thank you.
the way it's
Yes,
done.
I got it by text.
All right, Joy, I think you're first. You got any comments?
No, I think I've covered everything. Thank you.
Bob?
No, sir.
Ray?
No.
Thelma?
No,
Who else we got? Catherine?
I just want to say thanks to Matt. It was a great report and really appreciate throwing out the names of the new businesses and wondering how do we get a little bit more information? I mean, I guess we're not really able to go out and say hello to people like we would like to, but I think that that's always a nice gesture. I'm always very glad to hear about new businesses in town. So thank you.
You're welcome. Let me follow up and ask, would you want a phone number or an email or whatever we get on our application so you can call them or email them and say thank you and welcome to the neighborhood? Or
I would like to reach out because I think I think that's important that we do that.
Yeah, I've been in a couple of them already. I actually went in person, said I.
Oh, nice.
If they have a bricks and mortar, thing, that's something I can go by. And,
right.
Yeah.
Home business, I have not followed up on those. Yeah.
Mhm. Good. Thank you.
All right. Mavis.
I would like to thank Matt for his report, but I would also like to know in advance of some of the meetings that might be taking place so that if there's something of interest, like a land development, that we would know of it rather than being told about it after the fact, that we would know about it in advance.
Sure thing.
We'll do our
Thank
best. Okay. All right. Somebody have a motion to go into, we're going to go into a closed session here. Do you have a motion, Matt? Did you give one to somebody?
I didn't give it to anybody. It's for the discussion of the acquisition of real property.
Yeah. Somebody want to make that motion?
How do we do that?
Sorry.
How do you exclude the public from that?
It's a legal.
I know you do. I know we're supposed to. I'm just saying how.
We're gonna
in this format.
In this format, we're just going to remove people.
Lisa can
And
do
then
that.
I'll stop streaming on YouTube. So once you guys vote, give me a couple minutes to shut that down.
I need a motion to go into closed session for purposes of real estate.
So moved.
Second
Oh,
on that.
that whole thing.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
We have to read.
After we come back out, we have to read all that. Yeah. Okay.
But don't you have to read something going into closed session by order of blah, blah?
Yeah, you're supposed to cite the code and the number. Y'all want me to pull it up?
Would you read it?
Yeah, please. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, Lisa, that would be fantastically
Give
helpful.
me
Thank
one
you.
moment.
Take your time.
I don't see one for the acquisition that I already have. So let me see if I can Google it. Of land, VA code. Let's see what we get.
Anchovies and put it in there. I heard that's that.
Well, the item for closed session says, Mr. Mayor, I move that we enter into a closed session of town council pursuant to code 2.2-3711 of Virginia Code to discuss the acquisition of real property.
Okay, somebody want
I
I
make that
second it.
motion.
to,
Oh,
somebody want to make the motion that Matt just made? We need somebody to make, Matt can't make a motion.
No, didn't Bob just
Yeah,
make the
Mathis-
motion?
Okay,
Mathis moved what was just ordered. We need
Okay.
a second.
okay.
Bob
Second.
seconded.
All in favor, I guess, Joy,
Yes.
Bob,
Aye.
Ray,
Aye.
Thelma,
Aye.
Catherine,
Aye.
Mavis.
Aye.
Okay, all right, we're going to go into closed session. Lisa, can you take